Ladies and gents, we have our release date, Mr. Gamescom. Man, you know, I went to Gamescom. I was really disappointed. Blizzard's showing wasn't the best. Everything else was really boring. I did not want to queue for 4 hours to play Assassin's Creed. Well, here we are. Gamescom was now the place to be. So BlizzCon better be goddamn impressive, Blizz. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. It's far cheaper for us to get to Germany than it is to get to America. But still, America, right? So whatever. We get to go to the land of freedom. I'm more than happy. We have our release date. It's happening. It's coming. It's November 13th, 2014. The Thursday after BlizzCon. The Thursday after BlizzCon. You're asking a little bit there. You're asking a little bit. That's going to be hell month, for at least for me anyway. We're going to be taking the families away. We're going to be doing all that stuff. We're going to be hitting BlizzCon. We're going to be meeting everybody. So at least there's like a holiday break there for us guys. And then jumping straight into the fucking brand new expansion, which is, as you know, a workhorse for people like myself. So I'm excited. Coming off the back of BlizzCon and then straight into Warlords of Draenor. I'm actually pretty pleased. Despite the amount of work involved, I think it's going to be just so wow and so nerdy. I'm really down with it. So set your calendars. November 13th, 2014. The Thursday after BlizzCon. It's all going to happen. We had our cinematic. They hyped it so fucking much, didn't they? They hyped the crap out of this. And I've seen some people who are like bashing on it. After the Mists of Pandaria cinematic? Are you insane? How could you not watch that and be like, oh, that's so much better. That is so much better than watching a panda fight a pirate and an orc that looks like he's lumbering around with a broken leg. My God, it was so good. And these people are like, you didn't mention the Alliance. They didn't mention the Horde either. Are you mad? Did you not see what was happening there? That's not the Horde. It's not the Alliance either. It was none of them. Oh my God. But we did see the big turning point. That Mr. Grom did not, in fact, drink the blood of the Manoroth and then slayed Manoroth with a giant axe to the head. Yes, much joy. I thought that cinematic was awesome. Ironstar is so OP. I really enjoyed it anyway. I thought it was beautifully done. It was such an improvement on what we saw from Mists of Pandaria. It was brutal. It was nasty. It was what we wanted to see from WoW. No fuzzy, cuddly, nice and pretty, dark, gritty, nice and good. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Exactly what I prefer in a game anyway. The cute and cuddly has its place. Has its place in the pet tab. That's where that belongs as far as I'm concerned. I want my WoW to be gritty, nasty, and involved. And I personally loved it. And we saw this turning point, which raised many questions. The Burning Legion is around. Of course, if you've done Alkandun, you know the Burning Legion is around. They are there. They're up to stuff. They're doing stuff. So perhaps, as we now know our final boss, which has been revealed, we now know our final boss. Perhaps a mid-expansion raid is going to be Burning Legion focused. Is something going to be going on there? People are talking about it. That's cool. Nobody gave a shit in Mists of Pandaria. Nobody gave a fuck. Let's be honest. No one gave a fuck. No one was like, oh, I wonder what the mid-expansion raid's going to be. I wonder when this part's going to come up. I wonder when this is going to get involved. I wonder when this is going to happen. I wonder when that's going to happen. Oh, God, these things are around, man. These things are happening. So when are they going to show their face? What role are they going to play? But with Warlords, we have all that. We know that there's certain people around. This is one of the advantages of the time travel thing. As much as people are bashing on the time travel thing, it has raised a lot of eyebrows in how does this play out, because this hasn't happened. The Fel Orcs are no more. What's going to happen? How will it work? I just don't understand. But what is their next plan? That plan was to corrupt Grom. That's not happened. So what are they going to do instead? Perhaps nothing. How's that? They put all their eggs in one basket. He didn't drink the blood? Ah, shit. Well, we'll just call it a day there. Unlikely to that be the case. But still, I thought it was very cool. It raised a number of questions. It showed the main turning point, at least as far as my WoW lore knowledge goes. Such a huge turning point in the events of World of Warcraft and the Warcraft universe itself when Grom did drink it. And then we saw him pour it away and say, you know what? Fuck y'all shit. Not drinking the juice. And then throw it down. So I thought that was particularly cool. On to more news, which actually came from player interviews. God damn, I wish I was at Gamescom this year. My God, I would have liked to have asked Tom Chilton some questions. Especially when he brought up things like the Legendary Ring. Something that has been a huge joke in my live stream. Imagine if it's a Legendary Ring, guys. We all did laugh, and now we're like, oh, okay. It's a Legendary Ring. With a visual effect. A woohoo. It's very difficult to water down legendaries even more than they already have. But this is one way of doing it, right? If someone was to ask me, how can they make legendary items less interesting and less legendary? One answer would be a legendary ring that everybody can get from a quest line, and certainly one that starts before you cap. That would be one way of doing it, and hey, we're doing it! I don't know, man. What to say here? Disappointment? Of course, disappointment. Legendaries should mean something. They should mean something, and this seems like it's going to be less grindy. I'm sure it's going to be gated in some fashion. If you can start it at level 99, it surely can't be completed before at least level 100, obviously. And it's less grindy. That just means that it's going to be gated in a different manner to me. Whereas previously in Mists of Pandaria, we were gated by, Valor points. Can only collect a certain amount. You can only collect a certain amount of runes, because once those bosses die, that's it, So they're gated that way to elongate the quest line, which is essentially doing stuff you were already doing, and it'll be gated in some other fashion, right? It's got to be. This is the only way it can go out. Maybe you'll need less, but it's certainly going to be gated. It absolutely has to be gated in some manner, but I'm sure it's going to be easier. Yes, you heard it. It's going to be easier than it was in Mists of Pandaria. They did say they're probably going to be more legendaries. What does that mean? We don't know. Okay, we haven't got all the answers yet. They seem to be using words like could, maybe. Maybe we'll see. Will it be that the legendary ring is similar to the Shartouch gems? In which case it's just like part 1. You get the legendary ring. You'll replace it at some point, but it starts you on the journey to get legendary boots, I guess. Something along those lines. Who knows where it will end? But yeah, there's likely there will be more legendary items. Can we have cool raid-specific ones? Shadowmourn's cool. Legendary Grom Hellscream Axe, maybe. I don't know. Just saying. Something along those lines. Something interesting. Something that makes me go, that's cool. That would be nice. I just want, when I get legendary items, to go, that's really cool. I'm sure we'll look forward to Ghosty's thoughts on that during the web show. I'm sure they will be concise, clear, and to the point. But yeah, there you go, legendaries. A few other things came out of this that I wanted to talk about. Dungeons. They coulda, woulda, shoulda. They're being coulda, woulda, shoulda on the dungeons. We've had all the 5-man content that Warlords of Draenor will launch with. That has been released. We've tried it all. Very, very cool so far. Maybe shoulda, woulda, coulda. There'll be more coming, depending on what players want. How is that going to be gauged? Are we just going to ask the question? Maybe we'll get some scenarios. Maybe we'll get some 5-mans. We'll see. It'll be up to what the players want. Are we going to have a survey? Is that how it's going to work? How do you reach the player base to ask that question? Most people don't log forums, don't check, sites and stuff, don't respond to emails from Blizzard. Most people are happy to just play the game, which is fine. That's the way it should be. It should be Blizzard dictating how the game should go. But I don't like that. It seems like you've not planned it yet, which I just can't believe. I can't believe Blizzard hasn't already started work on stuff like this, right? Warlords of Draenor is obviously getting to the point where it's ready to come out, pretty much. They're doing the balancing and stuff. The content is in. So don't tell me that people aren't working on stuff already. They just working on the next raid. I don't believe you. I'm sorry, I don't believe this shoulda, woulda, coulda attitude. It's got to be planned out because the lifespan of the expansion is already planned out. They've said that. It's a cyclical process. It's going to work like Mists of Pandaria. So they know when stuff is coming out. Patch 6.1 or 6.3 should have something like scenarios and 5-mans in it, right? Because that's how it works now. The even numbers are generally a big raid patch, and then the odd numbers are small content updates. That's how it seems to work now. I just don't believe you. I really don't. I really, really don't. So that's my thoughts on it anyway. The other stuff they mentioned was the transmog stuff, system updates. There's just so many tier sets and off pieces that people want. Are we just getting to the stage now, which I think would make more sense as much as it's not indicative of maybe, real life, or whatever you want to call it, where we just have a database of items that your character has had soulbound to it, and when you go to your transmogrifier, the drop-down menu just shows them all? And you can, favorite them. I love this thing in the mount system, because people have so many mounts that you can just select your favorites and it'll pick randomly from them. And you can limit the list. Although you've got this huge list, you can limit it way, way down. It seems to make more sense to me that if we're going to do this and we're going to allow people to collect all this stuff, and instead of just making more and more storage so people have more and more stuff to organize, that we just have a database of old stuff, like anything below level 100, and it just gets ticked off and it's there and you can delete it and get rid of it or whatever you want to do. Or you can add it to that database. Add to my transmog list. That's what I would like to see, because we don't want everything in there. My god, that would be even more annoying. But if you do find something that you want and you want to keep, or maybe you'll keep for transmog, is that you just add it to the list and it's done. Simple as that. And then when you go to your drop-down menu, it's there. And later on, you can manage that by saying, I don't want this anymore, or don't show me this item, or something along those lines. I kind of think at this point, we really need a system that's just You have it, you had it, you don't need to keep it somewhere. It doesn't have to take up an item slot or something along those lines, which I think is very cool. We will be seeing some future content. Tanan Jungle is one that people already knew about. Is that zone will not launch with Warlords of Draenor initially, but is likely to come later. And maybe even Farallon. I want to say Farallon. Farallon. The Fields of Farallon. Okay, might be added as well, but that we're used to that as well. We've seen many other expansions which have released a new area for us to go to. So again, I wasn't surprised by that. Some people were like, ooh, we're getting all this new stuff. Yeah, it's kind of expected. A little bit that at some point now, I mean, we had things like the Sunwalker Isle, all that kind of stuff was added in later. This brand new area of land where you can go and do stuff, which I think is very, very cool. Very, very cool. No class quests. It seems to go under the radar a little bit, and I think that is really fucking sad. The Warlock class quest for the Green Fire was ridiculously popular, wasn't it? People re-rolled alt Warlocks to do it. It was so popular. I don't think there's anything been added to the game in recent memory that was as positive as the Warlock questline. But we're not going to do it anymore. What decision is that? That's one of the things that I think is really poor, is that we're not going to be seeing any more of that, or it's not been planned or nothing announced. Perhaps it's a case of, there's always the rhetorical question is, let's not say that X class is going to be getting a class quest right now, because we might force a lot of people to flood that class, and that'll create all kinds of problems down the line. If we have people settled into classes as they go on, and then eventually we'll tell them what it's going to be, and people might make alts, but people are likely to stick to their mains, all that kind of thing. I think that is pretty cool. Regarding the adventure guide and all that, yeah, I'm not really too bothered about that. It might help a lot of the actual casual guys get on with stuff, but other than that, not too much there. Lots more to discuss on the web show. That's my initial thoughts and everything. I hope that was clearing up some of the queries that a lot of you have been sending me. Excited is how I'm coming out of that. Lots of information that's a bit mishmash, and some of it that I don't quite believe. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.